And the general rule of thumb, from what I gather, is that as long as you get 1 in every 10 people paying for your service, then as long as your pricing structures are right, then you will make money. I just wonder whether anybody thinks that is that a model that can be sustained within the music industry. Ian, have you got any thoughts on that?
Well, we trialled, we dabbled with it in the US with our US service on freemium. We came to the conclusion that it's a very, very difficult model to make work.
Any particular reason?
Partly the labels still ask so much. Certainly when we did the test, and everything's have changed since then, because it was a good few years ago now. So to enable you to cover what you're paying back to the labels, it's very difficult to get that off the ad revenue. And it's just simple economics. To be able to make that model work, it proved to be quite difficult. It's a very challenging part of the industry. Having said that, any education towards subscription is good. I think I think that if we can, if all services are, within this spectrum of pushing the movement towards an open access subscription type of model, then that works.
I guess, Colin, just to relate to what Ian was saying there about the fact that these services still have to pay labels. Yeah, was that sort of instrumental in you changing in the W7? Not you personally changing, but W7 changing the business model.
Yeah, it was a factor. I mean, W7 is, I guess, a freemium model. We have the ad funding part of our service, and we have a subscription part. I mean, what we found when we introduced our subscription was that our users were actually accepting the volume of ads they were getting on free service. No matter how much we kind of cranked up that volume of ads that we served, they would still, tolerate them in exchange for getting some music for free. So we do have a subscription service now, and we have under 10,000 subscribers in the UK, which we feel is a good number because we haven't done a lot of kind of outreach and marketing support in favour of that. Just to go back to your question, it was a factor in us kind of shifting the focus to radio, because it's a simple fact of life that a radio stream costs a third of what, for us, an on-demand stream costs. So it's kind of simple economics. It kind of makes business sense to kind of put more focus on the radio in that sense.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on sort of freemium?
Well, I mean, I'd definitely say, free can sound like a kind of horrible word. If you're an artist, then you're like, oh, why should I give away my stuff for free? But I think sometimes you just have to kind of actually look into what you're doing. So if you're an artist at the beginning of your journey, well, actually the most important thing to do is actually to go and get the attention of some people and get them to hear your song. And if you don't have access to getting playlisted on Radio 1, the great thing is that you can, for free, go and give your music away for free, and you can actually go and get your music heard, which is the most precious thing to you as a new act as possible. And there's trade-offs in between. I mean, there's ways to kind of leverage free that actually give you some value. So I'd say, for example, if you're purely giving stuff away for free, then still be looking to get data back from that. So one thing that SoundCloud offers and a few other services offer is that you can actually say, right, okay, well, here's the music, and I actually actively, I'm not going to charge you for it. I want you to go and share it with people. I want you to go and put it on your music blog. I want you to share it to your friends on Twitter. But then we can actually say, well, if you embed the player, then when somebody clicks play, then we can actually know what website that got streamed off, whose Facebook profile it was. We can even say whether it was streamed in, the UK or Germany or wherever. So you're actually getting a lot of data back that you can then use. And we've had acts that have actually given away a track for free because they actually wanted to go and do a license deal in the US, and they really felt that they had a big market in the US, but their licensing partners almost didn't believe it. So they gave away a free download, and sure enough, 80-85% of their downloads all came from the US. So they could actually go to their partner and say, look, we've got this data, we've got this information, and they got a digital release in the US off the back of it. So to actually, I think just to give things away, you really need to look at what stage you are and what you're getting in return. But you know, the next stage after that is saying, one thing that we've done is built this thing called SoundCloud Social Download, which allows you to kind of ask something in return. It's like a kind of social exchange rather than the currency exchange, for saying, well, you know, you can stream my music for free, but if you want download, then you're going to need to share the player to Facebook, or you're going to need to tweet about the fact that you just downloaded this track, or you're going to give us your email address, for example. And again, like, we don't specialize in this, but there's a number of services that specialize in, you know, capturing people's email addresses in return for your track, and all of those things are really valuable, because you can give away your music for free, but then if all of a sudden you've got 20,000 followers on Facebook and Twitter, and you've got an email address of 10,000, then those are core fans that are both spreading the word about you, and you can then go and tell them, you know, hey, well, you know, we knew that you were in Newcastle when you gave us this download, so by the way, we're going to be playing in Newcastle next week, and here's 10% off the tickets, or something like that. So people are getting very, very smart about free, and you know, like, you can actually leverage it and get a lot of value back off it in return.
So that's the point you made there about sort of more location. There's obviously a big movement going on at the moment, or geolocation services. If any of your sort of platforms being thinking about moving into, you know, particularly on mobile, pushing services to people based on where they are, and building up networks.
Yeah, we did. Sorry to jump in.
Okay.
We did. I mean, there are a couple of things. First of all, there's this really like fantastic mobile app. There's a couple of services. There's one called Mobile Roadie in particular, where you can like build an artist app and then put it on the iTunes and get people to download it. But the really great thing about that, again, because a mobile device now has GPS and it knows where it is in the world, then you know if you've had like 10,000 people have downloaded your artist app, which might be free, then actually if they've turned their push notifications on, you can, again, it's this like targeted messaging. You can say, right, okay, you know, there's some like gig tickets. The other thing that we did was the idea of like checking into a location and getting a download in return. So there's all these great services like Foursquare, Gowalla, Facebook Places, and we did something with Atlantic where James Blunt was doing I can't remember, it was like a gig, but he also wanted to give away some music. So if you checked in at the gig, then you got to like get the music, for example. We did the same with Gowalla. So yeah, I think there could be some really interesting like spins on location.
Do you think there's any sort of potential for M4 to move into that sort of things? Obviously, you've already got the mechanism in place for recommending music.
Yeah, there could be. And we've looked at some kind of gigs, get recommendations. You can get stuff while you're there as well, and that might well come next year. I think we're probably looking the other way around at the moment. And again, it's a quirk of the sort of content-based industries that they tend to be limited to a particular country when you're licensed.
Right,
It's back to the YouTube issue.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, everything.
Yeah.
You know, if you're playing by the rules in the UK, you go out and you do your licensing deals in the UK, or you do them for Europe, or you know, you pay a lot of money and you do them worldwide.
Yeah.
You know, the internet is global. It's very difficult to launch services that are limited to a particular geography, and I don't think the music industry actually is set up to work in that way. So for us, it's less about going more local, it's actually more about going global.
Cool.